Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for joining me here at Old Glory Garage. Appreciate you guys watching. On today's episode, we are going to rebuild the dump truck's carburetor. A single barrel Rochester monojet. They're super simple, there's not much to them. I know it's been slow for me to put content out lately, so apologize for that. Just family comes first. We're doing Christmas and all the other craziness when it comes around the holidays. I am going to explore creating some shorts out of my current videos, and then I am going to create an end of year wrap up, which I'm sure will get posted far before this video. Stay tuned for watching if you want to see me freeze and try to rebuild a Rochester monojet. These usually came with the straight sixes or any of the smaller engines. Let's do it. Thanks again. And before we jump into taking this carb apart, let's show you my sad, depressing list that I have not gotten enough done on. As soon as I take one off, a new thing gets put on. So like, I fixed all the wiring to the back of the truck. Technically that's all working great, but now I have issues with the turn signal switch and brake switch. So I'm gonna try to fix all that. All right, here is our carburetor. Easy to pull off. I think it's 5/8 nuts that I had there. I just pulled the breather tube out of the valve cover. Loosen this screw here to release the cable. Look at how crusty it is. So the whole reason I have to rebuild this is the truck won't stay running right now. And I'm assuming it's because once it starts running for a minute or so, the fuel pressure starts coming out of the seal here. You can see why it's wet. It's also leaking pretty much out of all the other gaskets on this thing. Everywhere. Leak. Leak. Lots of leaks. So, just the spirit of getting this thing running without going crazy yet with a Holley EFI system or ACES or any of the other options available, we're just gonna do this for now and then probably swap out this high performance air cleaner. I'm gonna get an adapter. I think this is 2 5/16 or 2 5/8 for the neck on this, and then just get an adapter to a bigger size so it's not tiny looking on there. Rebuild kit we got for this thing, it's just from Rock Auto. Just the standard. Looking for part number. Oh, there it is. Okay. Part number I got. This is from Rock Auto. So 1573A. Alright. So here we go. Start off. Take off this performance air cleaner. It's doing so much. Not. I'm actually just going to throw it right back on top. Don't want the heaters to put stuff back on instead of losing it. No wonder why we don't have any performance. Check this out. Boom. Why is it? Come on, man. How did that even get in there? I don't think it sucked it through the tube. So that was off at one point. Oh, we still have some gas in it. Okay. Well, let's try to fish that out, I guess. That's jammed in there. Okay, well, let's not get gasoline on the phone. And my general tools. Alright guys, a life hack, disassembly, easy cleanup. I actually don't have any paper towels in the garage right now to just wipe this up. So I have a whole lot of puppy pads that I was gifted that work great for cleanup on stuff. So we're just gonna probably hose everything with a little PB blaster because it never hurt anything. So I know this is gonna be kind of a bear to pull apart, so might as well start pre-soaking it all. I think we're gonna have to do a parts run though. At least go get some Berryman's or some carb soak or some rust soak stuff. Yeah, just soak it all. Oh boy, that's bad. Also, before I start taking everything apart, I'm gonna get some pictures of it and make sure I can put everything back together the same. If you don't know how to do it, just take photos as you take it apart. Watch some YouTube videos and you should be able to reference your photos and put stuff back together. Don't over torque or impact everything. Check this out. Oh, that's crusty. Cool. Oh yeah, my favorite nut. We'll put that back later for some performance. So rebuilding the carburetor is probably about the same as doing open heart surgery. That might be it for the moment until I can go get a parts store. So we'll go and grab that and we'll come back. Alright, at this point there's 2 measurements you need to take before opening this thing up. First one would be the idle mixture screw. Count every half turn you go in and write it down just so you know your measurement beforehand if you didn't already mess with it. And then also your idle air mixture screw. Same thing. Hey guys, we're back. Went to the parts store, got some goods. I let this thing soak with a little Simple Green on it for a little bit. I couldn't get any more brushes, so I'm kind of stuck with these two for now. But a lot of the gunk cleaned up on here. So you can see Rochester monojet. In case anyone needs to see how stuff's oriented. That vacuum port on mine's plugged. I don't know if you can see down there or not. There's some light on it. Yeah. So, let's get some gloves on and start some disassembly. And probably soak this thing because it is disgusting. Gotta get the nuts out. Oh yeah. Got some special sauce. Soak it in with a little Evapo-Rust. So, let's get that soup cooking. And fill up the bucket. Alright, so I need the real grimy bits. Like these. Just gonna put in here. Some of the side linkage. Grab this bracket. Pulling that off, throwing it in. So we'll take this off. Nope, need a different screwdriver. Yep. Okay, I don't want to strip them, so try some other ones. Anything else on the outside here we can take off? Maybe this one. Some of these I'll throw back in just so I don't get them mixed up later. I guess one's tiny. I'll pop it off. Maybe not. Might be too crusty. That's fine. Well, I think we'll need that one off later. So, got the vacuum cap off. Looks like it needs to be cut off. Oh yeah, that wasn't doing a whole lot. That was hard. And trap scrubber. There's this side without. This isn't in the way now. Alright, pull this linkage off now. See if old adjustable will do it or if I need a wrench. Ooh, that's gross. Alright, more stuff for the soup. I'm going to kind of put this one back together so it's easier later. Alright. More stuff you can get off, the better. The better rebuilds you'll have. Okay, there's a... looks like if you spin this around, there's a notch on there. I don't know if it'll focus on it or not. There's a notch. You can get it to line up to pop out. Bucket. Alright, let's see what else we can get off here. I mean, the more you can clean off now, the better. That way it doesn't have to deal with it in the bucket or scrubbing later. Alright, we got that part. Looking great. Alright, bigger size. Cool. Broke it free. Yeah. Internal filter is disgusting. That's nice. Okay. So here's the important part. When you start taking actual internal stuff off, try to lay it out as you take it off so you know where it goes later. Alright. Always try to get a good snug fitting screwdriver. I got carbon gunk build up in the screw on this one, so we can kind of try to clean out their screwdriver some might help. But these ones might need a little heat or something later. Let's see. Nope. Okay. All right, so we'll wait on those. Those might need a little heat on them. So far all the same height, same length. First layer. Alright, gasket, pick a side to be stuck to, top or bottom. Try to get those out in one piece. Just because once we do final, I guess, disassembly matchup, we can kind of figure out which one's what. Try to take it apart in one piece. Okay, we're now at the point you need to take the third measurement, which is to measure the float height. You want to hold down the float pin with your finger and measure to the top of the float itself. Usually the kit will come with a gauge or like a little ruler thing that you'll use. Just because once we reinstall everything, you want to maintain that height, because if it's too high, you'll flood the engine. If it's too low, you'll starve the engine. Funny thing is, that's the same concept for how a toilet works with a float. But I digress. Red-green show here. Alright, back to the video. Alright, unboxing of the kit. Alright, so here's the kit contents. Full breakdown of the carburetor. These are universal kits usually, so there's multiple different styles of gaskets. That's why I wanted you guys to hold on to what we had so we can match them up. And then what is in the box? So we got a needle, a bunch of O-rings, and we measuring some stuff. But yeah. So for now, here we wait. I guess starting off, we can try to match up some gaskets. It already looks like we got one match. There's one. And then number two. Looks like this one, and this was going to be the top. Yeah, I like that. And then the middle section, which got destroyed, I went to verify, but it's one of these giant ones. So there's 4 different thicknesses they offer. Super huge, large, kind of a smaller, and then a really small. Different generations of the carb. But I think with how big mine was, it'll be one of the 2 there, but I think I should be able to measure. I got pulled out and we'll see what it was. We wait on the bucket till it's magic, and I might actually go get some Berryman's carb dip to really get it cleaned up the rest of the way. Let it sit. So we'll be back. Stay tuned. Keep watching. Alright, we are back at it again. I'll let this thing sit for like 4 hours in the Evapo-Rust. And I also picked up some Berryman's Chem Dip and some actual brushes. Found some good ones for it to actually scrub some of these parts. So we're going to get some of this moved over. Alright, here we are. I guess first up, for what's been in there, I cleaned up a bit. This is decent. There's a little bit of cleanup on it. You see, if I leave it in there a lot longer, it'll start. It just attacks the rust. It doesn't actually attack the surface, just unlike hydrochloric acid, which eats everything. Yeah, so just like that. A lot of the rust is cleaned up. But it leaves everything else behind, which is good and bad, because it leaves some of the grease. Some of this I need a scrub brush for, as you see. So you can probably do that real quick. Got a plastic brush. Ooh, that's so the worst part was in here in the flow bowl area. Man, you guys get real shaky on the neck mount. Yeah, just want to dip this back in the stuff here, get a rinse on it. Well, that might be good enough. for the first round. And hopefully the barium stuff cleans the rest of this up good. See how we're looking. Alright, let's make it easier. Almost better. Already a lot of the rust is off that. Barium stuff should help quite a bit. Oh, it's cold. Oh, the bottom one. Bottom one here is the worst. Well, this one really needs a serious soaking. And still pretty crusty. Ooh, hands getting cold in this stuff though. Oh, the rest of the parts are looking good. Oh, this one looks nice. Nice and clean. A lot of crud on this thing's cleaning up. Almost looks new if you wipe it. Look at that. Oh God, it's gold. A lot of stuff you just kind of rub it and the gunk comes off. Look at the brackets here. It's almost cleaned up after a couple hours. Alright, gotta fish out all the little stuff here. So much of this stuff's looking so much better. Man, it's cold out here though. Look at that. Very nice. See all the screws cleaning up real good. I'm gonna take a magnet to this bucket to find all the bits in here though. Like that one, nice and clean. That might be it. Here's how nasty the water got from all that. And here's an overview of the parts before I put them in the barium cleaner, the chem dip. I'll have a lot more scrubbing and detailing to go after this, but this is a good start anyway. Get as much rust as I can off first. So with that, I'm gonna try to put this big thing back in here. All right, let's open our fresh can. It's like Christmas with this stuff. Not really sure the components of this, if it's hydrochloric acid or what they got in here. It works pretty good. It's a handy dandy parts bucket. Put all my small stuff in that and then kind of stack everything else on top. A little bucket in. Kind of push the handle over to the side. See how much of this we can stack in here. I might need another bucket though. From the looks of it, yes. Should have got 2 buckets. Alright, I'm going to do this in 2 parts it looks like. Okay, so let that stuff soak in there and I might as well throw these back in the other bucket, I guess. For now. Or maybe I can, yeah. Well, will it fit? Come on, baby. Nope. Everything but the bottom butterfly portion. Alright, close that up. This one I'm just going to put back in the other bucket. Let the rust eater keep working. That's it. I'll see you guys in the morning. We're going to let this stuff soak inside at room temperature overnight. Not out here in the cold garage. It probably won't work as well in the cold. And we'll continue our rebuild tomorrow. Back again in the frigid garage. Just turn the heater on. Time for the goodies. So, let me get set up. Everything's starting to look good already. I did swap around a couple things. So even the hose clamps, quite a bit cleaner. This almost looks new. This is fairly rusty. I can see all the brazing and stuff on it. This one I swapped from the other bucket and put the lower butterfly into the barium. It's much better. Alright, well, let me get some gloves on. I'll start laying some parts out and you guys can see how good this stuff did overnight in the basement at room temperature. Alright, so still frigid, but we're gonna take some of the stuff out of the chem dip. Still might need a little bit of scrubbing. Alright, majority of it off this one. There's a close up. How much cleaner everything is, mainly down in there. I'm going to clean it with I think a little small brush. But most of it, any of the black stuff and goop that's still on, you touch it, it just comes off and just rinse it quick. This one might need to go back in for a little bit, but this one's only been here for a couple hours. There's all the rust. It's not rusty anymore. There's still gasket stuck to some spots and a little bit of grease. We'll put that one over here to the side. So much stuff, so cleaner. Filter rod. Cool, so I'm gonna put this back in for a little bit. And a couple other pieces that are kind of a little gumpy, a little gross. So now it's just time to clean everything up real good a little bit more, and we'll keep going. All right, so we'll do a little bit more cleaning. All right, tech tip: if you need to scrub the aluminum brass brush, it'll get a lot of the nasty stuff off without actually gouging the surface or anything. So all these gasket surfaces around the edges and everything, clean up real good. Was able to get this spring out and the other spring out here, and then a large flat screwdriver that fits mostly to the grooves on these. You want to pull this out. Yeah, just trying to go around and wire brush everything, clean it up real good, make sure everything looks okay, everything's smooth. There's not still dirt left on everything. Tech tip I learned from another video is you'll want to, accelerator pump goes in here, you want to make sure it's smooth, there's not as much, sorry, right there, that hole there where the large spring is from. You want to make sure that's smooth in there for the bore. If it's not smooth, you want to polish it because there's not as much lubricant in today's fuel. So, which I'll have to look up what, I guess, grit sandpaper, that'd be probably 1500, 2000, something pretty high just to polish the aluminum up on it. Or crocus paper, which I guess is at Lowe's. Never heard of it before, but it's an old timer trick. So for now, I will keep scrubbing all of the parts. Grease and paint from this lower section are heavy. There's still quite a bit of gasket material on it. There's still some thick gasket material on here. So if you can use a razor blade and keep it flat with it, parallel to the housing, around and clean. Main goal is not gouge the housing, don't scrape hard. Cleaner, see where we're at. Still dirty. Cool. Still grease stuck in everything.
Well, that's it for part 1 of this carburetor rebuild mini-series. If you enjoyed the video and felt there was value added, please like and subscribe. Thanks again for watching. See you on part 2.